Oops, that would be the monitor. Doop doop doop. All right.
Hello.
Hello.
Is there anybody in there?
I don't know.
Just not if you can feel me. It's hear me, but is there anyone at home?
I don't understand this reference.
Pink Floyd The Wall.
Oh, okay. That's why I don't understand.
I know. It's an amazing album.
I know there's British children singing some kind of an anthem.
We don't need no education.
That's it. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. All right, you ready?
Yeah, we can listen to that after this. It's
on record, right?
Yeah.
I don't need no British anthems.
Uh-huh.
Why, hello.
Hey there.
So it's been an epic day, epic week.
Yeah.
And we just watched Shang-Chi
Yes.
and the Ten Rings.
Which I think is like the third time we watched it.
I think so. Third or fourth, frankly.
Yeah.
I love that movie so much.
Well, it's really good.
Yeah, every
Really
time
well done.
every time we watch it, I'm like, maybe this is actually my third favorite Marvel movie. And it's like it goes up like one tier. So the next time we watch it, I'll probably be like, it's my second favorite Marvel movie. And then pretty soon it's going to be the first favorite. And it makes me actually think about, so I obsessed over another, Disney, I guess technically is MCU, right?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay. So I was obsessive about another Asian Disney cinematic masterpiece back in my middle school days.
Oh, yeah. Were you in middle school?
Probably. Yes, for
Okay.
sure. I definitely wasn't in high school.
Okay.
You were in high school?
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
I went on a date to watch that one.
Aw, that's so crazy. I was definitely in middle school.
Yeah.
I watched it every day. I loved that movie. And I still have yet to see the live action version.
you
But I've
haven't?
heard from people that it's not going
worth
to be
watching.
good compared to like
No.
the original. So I kind of don't want to watch it because I love the original
No,
Mulan.
they distorted some things and changed some things around, which I don't think make it worthy of watching.
Okay.
I mean, there's no Eddie Murphy and no dragon, so pooey on
Yeah,
chewy.
it does seem like, I don't know. I should watch it just to try to understand and process, like, how did they handle some of that narrative device that he facilitated? He was like narration grease.
They just kind of ignored it. Yeah,
Sounds boring then.
it was.
Okay. I mean, I don't know why I didn't
She
watch it.
didn't even
at the
climb
time.
the pole with the medals, or
Be a man, you
Yeah.
must be swift
I don't
as
even
a
know if they
coursing
had that song in
river.
it.
I'm sure they didn't.
I just didn't really want to watch it. So
Okay.
I'll watch it
Well,
with you though.
But
I will
anyway.
suffer and sacrifice for you, honey.
Okay.
I will.
I should watch it because I loved Mulan so much. I loved it.
We could do
and
it
now
after
I
this.
really love Shang-Chi. And like I'm just like weeping on the couch and you're like napping and like waking occasionally as I'm weeping too loudly.
It's Sunday.
Well, anyways, I'm Kit.
And I'm Dale.
Welcome to Catholic Hitch. We are a Catholic family seeking heaven and hoping to pick up others along the way.
Small talk. So, I think you've been a little busier than I have this week.
I think so.
Although I did have a deadline, but my deadline wrapped up really, really well. And I didn't actually have to work overtime to get it done.
I had 6 deadlines. Plus keeping our family fed, keeping us in food
Well, let's
and
see.
in clean clothes.
First job, being the CEO of this household.
Not CEO. I don't know.
Yeah, you're the CEO because I'm the CFO. And then second job.
I think we do it different. I think it's actually the reverse.
Okay, maybe. I'm dyslexic, by the way.
I think you're the CEO.
Then
Anyway.
the other job would be being a traffic demand management specialist.
No.
Transit?
No.
What is it?
Transportation.
Transportation.
Make it
Dang
right.
it. Transportation
Yeah,
demand
anyway,
management
doing
specialist.
transportation-y things.
And then
TDM.
not quite interim anymore, more like
Well.
director, not maybe permanent. We'll see where
We'll
it goes,
see.
but
Has to
but
be a
that
conversation.
one. So that's
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
So I just wanted to, I don't know, we don't normally like recap everything that we did, but I'm like, I want to recap everything that happened because I want to like try to go back and remember this.
This is recorded for posterity for
right?
our children, hopefully to listen to whenever they miss us.
It'll be our grandchildren.
Eventually.
Because it's like when you find out stuff about your grandparents, it's like super cool. You're like, ooh, my granny did this. I don't know. I'm not sure I'll be granny though. I don't like that.
I don't know. I think
grandma.
I think we
grandmother.
We have a few years before we have to worry about
couple
that.
Years.
We're getting into teens. We don't need to think about babies. Not yet.
I suppose.
I mean,
I think it's going to come faster than we realize.
Probably.
I mean, hopefully the right way.
Well, yeah. Well, any life will be wonderful, but we would prefer it in the constraints of vocational marriage would be great.
Yep. So
Sidebar.
We had kind of our normal week, which is a lot of running around already. And then Wednesday, it was our last faith formation class. So you were teaching, quote unquote, teaching, because it was actually a movie night.
Well, I did a little bit of teaching in there just because there was another class with us, and there were some boys in that class that really felt I needed to reach out to as best as I possibly could. We all know these kind of boys because I was one of them at their age. And they were just like, I have to be here. I have to do this. Fine. And, we watched Brother Francis, which is a little bit more childlike. It's,
I wish there was like a better, slightly older.
Yeah. I mean, it's great for our class, which is 8, 9, 10-year-olds, but these are like 13, 14, maybe. I don't think they're quite 15 yet, but they're in that ballpark.
Yeah, no, these are like fifth grade would be maybe sixth grade if they were in the fifth grade with the previous year, but most of them won't be older than sixth grade.
Definitely one of them was closer to me being a sixth grader and almost ready to shave. So, yeah. So I had to reach out to them as best I could, and so I tried to teach a little bit about why they're getting confirmed and that it's only the beginning of their journey and those kind of things. So
nice.
Yeah. So, but that was my little bit. You were doing 30 gazillion other things.
So I've been thinking about it for a month. Like if I'm going to try to do this thing, like with the faith formation position, I've wanted to like actually talk to parents and have like an intentional conversation. And I have been trained to do focus groups in my other job. Mm-hmm. So I actually kind of put together 2 focus groups, and it was, I invited whoever wanted to stick around and have a very open conversation to stick around. And I had a couple of really good focus group sessions, and it was really valuable to talk with parents. And the nice thing about a focus group, it's different than like an interview because you have this kind of the energy of everyone together.
Yeah.
Cling, cling, cling. How can I secure my miraculous medal?
I don't know. It's okay.
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
You see, every time everybody will hear that, they'll just know that it's like time to take a drink of whatever you're drinking while listening to this.
I guess so.
And then you'll have to go to the bathroom eventually.
Weird. So anyway, I did a couple focus groups, and it was really, really cool. And I have my, I was typing notes. I wanted to do one of those big Post-it note boards, and I swear I've seen one somewhere in a room in our church, but I could not find one on Wednesday. And so I'm like, I'm just going to type. And I even wanted to record just to like have that record to go back on. And everyone got a little bit nervous. And then I couldn't do it anyway because I don't have a record app on my phone, evidently.
Oh, yeah. That's
it's like a special
challenge
install
with the recording people as those kind of things.
Well, I asked, and I said, this is just for me to reflect. And I did honestly say I have a terrible memory of like, who's saying what and phases. So I won't remember any kind of feedback. And please, if don't feel like you shouldn't be critical, I'm not going to have my feelings hurt, blah, blah, blah. And so because of that, I think, and what happens with a focus group is one person says something and then it kind of sparks something else in the mind of another person. And you just kind of end up having this kind of cross the room conversation with each other that is like really energetic and kind of nets really super helpful information. So yeah, I did 2 focus groups, and then Thursday we had confirmation masses, or mass. It's just the one mass actually.
Well, we had one on Tuesday and Thursday, right?
Well, there was one on Tuesday, but I wasn't involved.
Right. We were just involved in the one on Thursday night.
Yeah. So we had Thursday confirmation mass. That was one of my 2 masses. The next one is going to be Terrence's confirmation mass on this upcoming Thursday. Kennel. Noisiest dog ever. So, Thursday confirmation mass. And this is the first time I've ever even been to a confirmation mass, because when our oldest was confirmed, or when she was supposed to be confirmed in a more like formalized confirmation mass, we were in the hospital with her youngest brother. So we did not have her confirmed with the rest of her peers. So she was confirmed like at a special alternative type of ceremony. So it didn't really, we didn't get the full experience. You have been to a confirmation mass because you were a sponsor of my best friend's son.
Yes.
That same year. And I sent you, I was like, I got the hospital. And Jonathan had started to do better that day.
Yeah.
So you had attended a confirmation mass, but I had not. So I have no idea what logistically is supposed to happen. I've never been to a confirmation mass. And then all of a sudden I'm like kind of organizing this thing.
Yeah.
So I get there early, and then suddenly I'm like learning I have to secure lectors. I have to introduce the candidates to the Archbishop's delegate. It's just like lots coming at me. And fortunately, the Holy Spirit delivers.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm a trained lector, again, fortunately. And then I knew one of the parents was a trained lector as well.
I was so happy to see him go up and, and proclaim. It was
really
nice.
good.
It was good. I think it was good for him too.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was just, it was definitely a little crazy that night.
Yeah. It was his oldest daughter, I think, was getting confirmed that night.
No, second oldest.
Second oldest. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I knew that he was going to be there. So I have to think about this Thursday and who I'm going to wrangle. I can probably lecture again. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that Thursday, so I went to daily mass on Thursday, which I was kind of like waffling back and forth, but I was actually quite nervous on Thursday morning just about the entire day.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, we're going to go to daily mass. So we had the reading. Then I end up proclaiming the Acts, like of the Apostles, at the Thursday, because that's the Thursday reading. And then today's reading, which I was also set to lecture 1, same reading.
I was gonna say,
is that funny?
I thought I had heard that earlier this week.
Yeah, I looked at it. I'm like, oh, this is what I did on Thursday.
Yeah.
Which is just kind of funny. So I really processed that, and I actually asked Father Andrew about that one, and it was really interesting. Anyway, that's a sidebar.
Okay.
So yeah.
Do tell later.
Confirmation masses, or mass, just the one mass actually, on Thursday. Reception after the confirmation mass, putting away a bunch of saint posters that night, which you helped me with. Got home and our kids were in party mode. So we get home like after 9, and Terrence has like blue all over his face from a candy cane. And
that candy cane came from your office,
from my office,
and been in there for who knows how long.
At least since December. So he's got blue, and he's doesn't have a shirt on because he likes to sleep without. It was like that moment in the movie I've never seen, but you see portrayed with Tom Cruise when he's like in his underwear and sliding across the floor.
Risky Business.
Okay, yes. I've never seen the movie, but you've seen that trope a million times.
Yes.
It's like portrayed again and again and again.
Yes.
So it was like that scene with him sliding across the floor, except he was in pajama pants, but no shirt. And he's got like a completely blue face.
I almost bought that at the thrift store the other day.
I'll be okay. I don't need to see that movie. I'm sure I can live the rest of my life without this cultural reference.
Me too.
So that was Thursday. Then the next morning, I am at a transit station at 6:30 in the morning to greet and thank and get feedback from transit riders for my other job. So I met my executive director there, and it was nice because we got to chat like between the bus scheduled pickups, and then we had some good conversation with riders.
Yeah.
So crazy. Friday, our daughter has her first ever dance.
Yes.
Which was nice.
Yeah.
And then Saturday morning, I'm at another event, and I think I'm just going to be at a table with chairs to sit down on. I'm like, yes, this is going to be great. My body is very tired now. And no, I get there and it's a bike rodeo, and I'm talking to the lead organizer, and she's like, Or no, I say, oh, this child needs a little bit of help learning to ride. Who's helping people to help kids to learn how to ride? And she's like, we have no one. And I just like look up at heaven and I'm like, oh, Lord, please no. And then I look back down and I'm like, I have taught 4 children to bike. I will do it. And the funny thing is, you know where we normally set up with the bike derby?
Yeah,
it's by the basketball court, right?
Yes.
We were on the main path, the main walking path of the lake. So across the field from that nice, flat, large space that's perfect to teach children to bike on.
That's why
we were across the field from it.
Yeah.
So I went back and forth. I got my 10,000 steps that morning.
I'm sure you did.
It was crazy. And so I walk in the door after I technically taught 5 kids to ride a bike, but I'm giving the mom the credit because when I was walking away getting the wrench that you use to like remove the pedals, the mom got the kiddo balancing. And it's actually her son's friend. So she wasn't that kid's mom, but she just, I guess, brought him with them to the bike derby.
Cool. Props.
And so, 4.5 children. So I doubled my number of children I've taught to bike.
Yep.
Felt pretty epic. But I definitely staggered in the door and I took a nap.
You went to sleep.
Which is very rare for me.
Yeah, I come home from a tournament and you're in bed. I was like, oh, that must have been a hard day.
Yep. And I probably would have slept for like hours that day, but I didn't. And then at some point in the evening yesterday, it occurs to me, I am in charge of a May crowning today at church.
Yep.
And I'm like, surely, I'm doing this with another committee at church. And I'm like, surely they will have this figured out.
Nope.
So I like start sending some emails and then literally the Holy Spirit is like, you need to do more in this. And so I make a crown. I got the parts and pieces that I needed to make. And I actually found flowers and I selected them because they looked so real. And it was quite gratifying because I take the crown home and you're like, does this need to go in the fridge? And I'm like, oh, thank you. They are fake flowers, but they look so real. And you're like really close to them. So they were orchids, which isn't traditionally associated with Mary, but they look so real. And that was why I'm like, I want this to look like real flowers. I want it to honor, our Blessed Mother. And then this morning, I'm like, maybe I should like put some stuff together just in case. And again, like Holy Spirit prompted that thought. And thank God I did because there was no plan for the May crowning. Yeah,
but it went beautifully.
Yeah, and you said we had 80 people?
80.
Oh my goodness
gracious. I stopped counting at 80.
Yeah, it was pretty intense.
There were a couple extras. It was 77. And then I saw there were a couple more. I'm like, okay, we're at 80. And so we were at least 80 people, kids and adults.
Yeah, and lots of people are complimentary, which is always nice. You and I ran to the store and got some like little cookies because I was like, maybe I should get cookies for the kids.
Right.
And that was a good thing.
Right. Well, we learned that Sam's Club doesn't open until 10.
That was something we learned.
Therefore, we went to the 24-hour Wally World.
But we got individually wrapped cookie packs.
Great value cookies. They worked.
And they did. It was just like a little bit of something.
Yes.
And fortunately, the other committee had bought roses. And it was all roses. I told them to like mix it up with other flowers. And thank goodness they got as many as we did because we didn't even have enough for everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was definitely, we kind of processed from inside the church to outside of the church. And I had a song prepared, which is Immaculate Mary, blah, blah, blah.
And the rest of us were.
And I was belting it. And I don't sing loud. Like I'm very, very loud. I'm an exceptionally loud person. I do not need a microphone.
No, you don't.
Never. But I use some because it's kind of extra powerful voice. It's gratifying. But I have a very soft voice when it comes to singing. And so I was like really, really belting for me. And I definitely was not sounding great, but I think I got enough people singing. I couldn't hear anyone but me. My loud singing voice ringing in my ears.
I thought it was wonderful.
So anyway, that's like my crazy week. And it was really nice actually with the May crowning because you were vested in your MC stuff and Terrence was vested in his altar server stuff and you guys were out there with me.
Yes, we were vested. And I carried the
crucifix.
The processional cross. Yes.
It was nice.
Yeah.
And it was actually kind of a actual procession that came together very impromptu.
Yep. So quick rewind a little bit before going into the big talk.
Oh, yeah, no. You can interject now.
The dance. So our daughter's 13, and she wore a nice dress. It was very appropriate, very conservative. But
no, I wouldn't say conservative.
Well, in today's world, that is a conservative dress. It has a little bit of a top that shows a little bit like collarbone area and has the little frilly things that go up and over the shoulders. However, when we go to pick her up, the frilly sides have come down.
She was wearing it off shoulder.
Off shoulder.
She had made it off shoulder.
And I'm like, whoa, okay, we just hit a milestone here. That our daughter had to show a little bit more of the skin on the top there. I'm like, we got outside. I'm like, you can put that back up now. She's like, oh, okay.
Oh, you should say the other thing that happened that night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was so crazy.
So there must have been a, like, I don't know what you call it. They're like little Briggs and Stratton 5 horsepower gas-powered little scooters.
Like tiny motorcycles.
Little motorcycles, like miniature motorcycles. And there was ridiculous. A gang of them, like 6 of them. And they're all piling out of this garage. It's like, oh, that was interesting. And so, they're going to do whatever they're going to do. Fine. We go down and we're picking up Christina from this dance at the local church down the street. And all of a sudden, we hear them going, wing, and they're taking off, and we see the flashing lights of the whoop whoop right behind them. And they don't stop. They race.
Boogie.
They run. So it was a chase of max 35 mile an hour gas little scooters running away from the cops, and they got on the trail and got away. And then you hear the rest of their little posse gang here that are coming behind and don't know that the cop was chasing the first 3. Yeah, that was fun.
It was pretty cool. We got to witness the entire scene. Like, we literally could have tipped the cops off on where they came, like the house they came from, because we drove right by that house as they were going out onto the street.
Yes.
It was we saw all elements of that story.
Yeah, it was. So
good. You don't normally see a cop car chase, and I mean, it was a little bit anticlimactic because it's chasing little tiny ridiculous motorcycles.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Why would people think that's cool? Can you explain that to me?
Well, if we were still in Louisiana, that would be there wouldn't even be a cop. The cop would be driving with you, or he'd be on one of the scooters.
Okay, because that is not
it's
an explanation
country
for
bumpkin
why
and
they're
cool and fine, and it's fun. Here in the middle of suburbia, I think it's a little, nobody does that here. And when they do, they get caught by the whoop-whoops.
Okay, but that doesn't answer my question of why would a grown adult think that it's cool to ride a tiny, ridiculously sized motorcycle?
Have you met men?
I have known men.
This is what we do. We ride things and do stupid stuff.
Stupidly small.
Yes.
You look like an idiot.
But
Not
you're
you,
having
but anyone
fun.
that's on that thing.
I can understand it. I would totally ride one of those.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's fun.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I would ridicule you so much as I am right now.
Uh-huh. Just wait, honey, when I take you to the quarter mile in the Camaro, and then you'll understand.
I am going to be there. No, mister, you're never going to do that again. That's going to be what happens when you take me to the quarter mile track, because I will get freaked out and be like, no more.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
You're betting on me, becoming one of those crazy women that, I wear a button-down shirt, but then I don't button the bottom half of it, and I tie it up on my waist, and then I have my, what are those type of shorts that are, ripped off?
You're going to be Daisy Duke.
Daisy
Dukes of
yes.
Hazzard.
Is that the image? Yes. So that's what I would be. That's what you're betting
Lord,
on
no,
me.
Don't do that.
That's what you think I'm going to turn into.
No.
But I'm going to actually turn into a librarian, and I'm going to call the cops on you, and I'm going to be like, no more. This is too dangerous for you.
But we're at a sanctioned place where you can do it.
But it's so dangerous.
It's not dangerous.
I don't know, but I think that's going to be.
I'm not going to have an 8-second car or something like that. It'll go on the quarter mile 15 seconds.
Okay.
It'll get up to 95.
I still think I'm going to be worried.
Nah. You'll be fine. It'll be great.
You're just betting on me being Daisy.
Now, when I blow the motor that's in it now, that's a different story.
Okay. Well, what did you do this week?
I don't know.
You also had a tournament.
I did. I had a tournament. And this was the first time I got to judge sparring because it was the first tournament we've had in 2.5 years that we could actually spar in. Like full contact, the whole kit and caboodle. It was great.
And you have revealed to me where all your bruises are, so if you annoy me, I can take you down, sir.
I guess you could if
by
you
hitting your bruises.
wanted to. You could do that. Well, so I'm in the 40 plus division of men, and there were 6 of us in our division, and we were purple, brown, and red belts. And the red belts, of course, were difficult to fight against.
What are you now?
I'm a brown belt.
Okay.
But purple belt won the whole division. He also is 6'2" and has really long legs and is a bull when you fight him. And I didn't get to spar against him, honestly. I was sparring against this red belt that was my height, and he was also a bull. It was a little intense.
So how do they? Is it like brackets?
Yeah, so it's point sparring. So any point to the chest area, to the side of your head protector, that is a point. If it's a punch, it's a single point. If it's a kick, it's 2 points. And you have 2 minutes of sparring. And that's your round. Whoever wins that round then goes up to the next and, kind of brackets up until you get to the last head-to-head of 2 people. And then that person wins. And then we also have a first point wins bracket. And that one I almost won. I got close. But I was sparring against that red belt again, and he got me. But it was good.
He knew your weaknesses.
He did, because I've got a giant bruise under my left pec, which apparently I raised my arm.
You just revealed to everyone you're weak. You're weak.
Hey, ow.
See, I told you I could take you down.
Yeah, so it was fun. But I did get first place in Poomsae. So,
which is what?
That's forms in American.
Most people don't know what Poomsae is.
Yeah, which apparently I've gotten first 3 times, which I didn't realize until I had to put the plaque somewhere. I'm like, I'm running out of room for those things in our tiny little bedroom spot.
You have to find a way to keep it in a small space.
I am.
My bedroom will not become a
high
taekwondo.
I have a dense corner.
Trophy
case? I don't want a trophy case. And so the best part of the whole thing for me, really, was, so one of my uncles, he's having a lot of health issues right now. And I realized that a lot of times when I'll practice, I will practice for a purpose of, I will consciously try to pray for someone. And so I offered up all of the pain, all of the suffering, all the hard work and effort that it takes to compete in these tournaments. I said, hey, Lord, please just give this up to my uncle. So all my bruises, they're for my uncle, for his salvation of his soul. That's what I was praying for. So in that, it was beautiful and wonderful and great. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But I skedaddled right after because, we had scheduling conflict and, had to get home.
We realized... Yeah, we realized that we both had stuff on the calendar, but we had not talked about with each other.
Yeah.
And we could not see each other's things on the calendars.
No, and forgot to put some things on calendars.
You can't have a tournament. I have an event this morning. I have to be at an event. And you're like, you can't have an event. I have a tournament.
I told, then I brought up the fact that I asked 3 weeks ago, hey, if I can do it. And you're like, you can't do anything on this weekend because we had the confirmation retreat. And I'm like, okay, cool. Then I can do it the next weekend.
Mentality.
Yes. One of your 4 jobs.
And I have to say, I really screwed up this week. The fact that I had so much and I survived it is honestly a miracle, because I have a good bandwidth. I can handle a lot. And I think I was just at the tapping out point this week. I had one little panic attack.
Yeah, you did.
And that was, I think, there was another emotional thing that I had learned about that I think really set that off.
Right.
That was not necessarily job related, but
But it does point to the fact that you had
I
a
maxed
little bit
myself
too
out.
much on your plate.
So I think it is humbling to realize that I should have said no to like a couple of these things, maybe even just one of the things. I should have said, no, I can't do it. And I think it's a lesson in maybe protecting my schedule a little bit.
As I said, you're not a Super Saiyan, honey. You can't level up at will.
What's a Super Saiyan?
You don't even remember I made this joke and you forgot?
Oh, man, I don't.
It was a rough week for you. So Dragon Ball Z,
Oh.
the Super Saiyan, is the leveled up version of the Saiyan, which is the main character Goku and Gohan. And so they will go and train in these rooms where they will crank up gravity like to 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 times Earth's gravity.
That sounds so attractive to me.
And that's exactly what I said. I'm like, you're going to take on a little bit more. Look, now I can jump and do all these other tasks within a menial second. Yeah, that's what happened. That's what you were trying to do.
That actually feels very much like on point, describing like what the emotional physicality of this week.
Yeah.
I went into the super gravity chamber, and I came out, and I hope not to do that again, like anytime soon. But I did survive. It was pretty.
Yes, you did.
Astonishing.
Yeah.
When I got all done, and I got up from my nap, and I guess actually, when we got home from church after the May crowning, that's like when it was like, okay, accomplished. And I do have more stuff this week, but it isn't quite as crazy.
Yep. Well, I think with that, maybe we should skip the big talk. Oh my gosh,
we probably should. Oh no, here, really short big talk.
Okay.
So, because I had to kind of pull together a May crowning, I decided what is a May crowning is probably a good question to Google. And we've done them at our church, and we've done our own at church in our home.
Yes.
But I've never really researched, like, is there a formal way to go about this? And the answer to that is there is not a formal, like any kind of a formula for a May crowning. May has historically, since the 13th century, has been seen as an important month to marry. There are 6 different traditional and new feasts to marry in the month of May. Our Lady of Fatima, Our Lady of the Most Blessed Sacrament, Our Lady Help of Christians, Our Lady Queen of Apostles, the Visitation, and Queenship of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Those all take place in May.
Party.
So yeah, big time party central. And the month has been formally recognized as consecrated to Mary, or maybe not consecrated to Mary, like it's been recognized to honor Mary for the entire month since like the 1700s ish.
Okay.
That was recorded by a king in his journals, evidently. So you can do a May crowning at church. There is no formula, but it usually involves hymns, Marian prayers, and then the presentation of the crowning of a wreath, like a flower wreath, on a Marian statue.
Yes. And
then the presentation of flowers or stems of roses to like that statue. And then she often remains crowned for the month. And then some parishes have like a formal kind of end of the month ceremony to kind of conclude. And it often will involve processing around with a Marian statue.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So yeah. I don't think we've ever done that at our parish.
Not yet.
Okay, you have a month. You have 31 days to get that done, sir. Or a year and 31 days.
Year and 31 days.
So that's like the at your church with your church community version of a May crowning or some kind of a Marian celebration for the month of May. But you can do this in your house as well. And actually something that came up when I was doing some research is it's common to have a May altar. And that is actually a space that you decorate. You have a Marian statue or an icon in it, and you have fresh flowers placed there, candles and things like that. And it's for the month of May, and you can start the month with kind of honoring Mary in that space, and it can become a space in your home where you intentionally honor Mary through prayer and songs and hymns in the month of May. And so thinking about a May altar, I'm not an architect. It kind of occurred to me that maybe if you were to put such a thing together in your house, it would make sense if it is placed in like the most central family space of your house, because we're not churches in our homes.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have like a most sacred space.
I think that's why a lot of times it's the grotto out in somewhere on your residence that tends to be that space.
Okay. Do you have anything else to chime in on?
Nope.
Oh, okay. You just want me to wrap up.
No.
We ran really long.
You covered it. It's good.
Okay.
Gives me some thoughts.
Okay. For your year and 31 day plan to execute.
Yep.
Well, you've tipped off everyone that you have something planned.
We'll see.
I guess maybe it could be good to tip people off.
Maybe. It would probably.
You are tired.
I'm not that tired. I'm just thinking. I'm contemplating.
You're not verbal processing.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
I haven't done that since I was like, Johnny's age, which is verbal processing at all times when you're tired.
I'm not sure I'd call it verbal processing.
It's an oration gone wild.
So our youngest, similar to our third, uses his mouth to stay awake.
Yeah, he gets that from me.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
Our oldest used her legs to stay awake. Our second oldest, I think he just went to bed.
No, he just went to bed.
Yeah.
He's like you. It's like, I'm tired.
Going
to bed.
Beautiful lure of a bed that you can go to sleep in. Blissful sleep. It's so much like Dev. Bring me to it now.
Yes. Well, 75% of our children are night owls, I think, or will be.
It's hard to tell when they're little.
Yeah.
Because our oldest was crazy. And now she's not. But she is a night owl.
Yeah.
And she always was. Oh, yeah, except for tonight.
Which hopefully doesn't mean she's sick, but we'll find out.
Yeah, that's another thing we've been dealing with is sickness running in the house.
Yeah, some kind of stomach bug. But,
mm-hmm.
Well, there you have it. Busy week and May crowning. It was fun. And we'll have to check out a couple of these other merry events of feasts.
Yep, I got it from our calendar.
Yeah, it's cool.
And, most of them are traditional, not new feasts. So they're kind of been buried with the new calendar. Like, no more Marian feasts for you. But if you go with the old calendar, there's bunches.
Well, ours, I think our calendar has it in like the new, and then it carries the traditional underneath.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's how I found them all.
You can go trad and just have like a wild bender month of May with Mary.
And if you want to make your whole family uncomfortable, do a May crowning in front of your house every year. Guaranteed discomfort.
Yes.
For everyone.
All we were missing was the acoustic guitar and you raising your hands with a lighter.
I'm going to find a way. No, that doesn't seem Marian enough. Like, let's find the most hardcore Catholic-y thing that you could do where people are like, oh my gosh, what are they doing? And that's what I'm going to do just to embarrass you all.
Okay. You work on that.
I will. I have a year.
It can be your sixth job.
Well, on that note, Dale gives this podcast an S for satisfactory.
Oh.
Or is it an S minus?
No, we'll go with S because that brings back horrible memories of childhood and satisfactory grades. But anyways, if you like the podcast or want to share it with anybody, you can reach us at catholichitch@gmail.com, and we're on, I don't know, a bunch of different things. We actually haven't talked about that. We're on Spotify and iTunes and anywhere
everywhere
you find
podcasts.
Yeah, that line.
I'll be there.
Well, may the Lord guide and direct our journey.
Amen.
Our dog went to sleep.
Amen.